like you're in an elevator or something. It's like an elevator. Well, hello. We're live. It's Tuesday, time for our Facebook Live, and depending on what part of the world you're in California, it's mid to late afternoon. In New York, it's early evening, and here we're in Lisbon, Portugal, and it's midnight. So happy day, happy Tuesday, and hello, everyone. Give us some little heart things so that I know you're out there. And this is the first time I've actually formally introduced my wife to the world. This is Marzi, my wife, and
Hi,
she's
everyone.
my special guest today. So here we go. Today's topic, what's
Today's topic is moms.
neither one of us remembers.
We do know. We just want to say it properly. It's moms, kids, and grandkids taking care of all generations.
Yes. And I think when I first said it, I said mamas, kids, and grandmamas, taking care of all generations. So we're going to start off by just talking about some of the basics that relate to all generations. But well, maybe we'll start with what you were just talking about a minute ago and how grandparents just don't understand sometimes. You want to talk about that?
The compliance, right. There's many parents that they really want to make some healthy life changes in the kid's life, but it's very hard to understand for the grandparents. Like, how can I not give my grandchild a treat? How can I not give them the sugar and whatever can express my love to them? So there is a bit of conflict. But what I also thought about is that when we were raised, we were also raised in different conditions. Like we could play with the dirt and just get the stronger microbiome, which is often forbidden by this new generation. So there's also compliance, reversing the same, this is a different situation, but compliance for the parents to be more open to the grandparents.
That's right, because the grandparents know. That's a really good point.
Right.
You know, when my previous marriage, when we had kids, and we were in Chicago, and my folks lived in Michigan, so we would drive back to Michigan every once in a while, and my parents would just give the kids all kinds of crap. And I don't do that. And we go back to Chicago, and the kids would be sick because they'd eaten a whole bunch of foods that they really shouldn't. And this continued. It was like 3 or 4 times this happened. And finally said, all right, that's it. We're leaving. We're not coming back. And I said, pack up the clothes. We're leaving. And my mom, oh, no, don't do that. I said, we can't do this anymore. She said, I just don't know what to do. And then we got it that we didn't show them what they could give their grandchildren as treats. What are healthy treats that the grandkids like? And so we showed my parents what acceptable treats were, and we actually went to Whole Foods, did the shopping, and we brought them back. And so my mother could feel that she was giving her grandkids the cookies. And then one time they baked something together that was with, I don't know, healthy ingredients, and but we had to take a strong stand.
Right.
And sometimes you have to take a strong stand. And nowadays, though, we've got a generation that is fearful of bugs and bacteria, and it's the whole hygiene theory. For those of you that haven't heard of it, it's very well accepted now. There are many studies that talk about the hygiene theory, and what that is that people are so sterile in their worlds today. They're always using antibacterial soaps and things like that, and they're afraid of dirt. They're afraid of bugs because we think bugs are bad. Bugs are not bad. Excessive bugs are bad. And you have to train a child's immune system to fight bugs. And you don't do that if you keep them sterile. And the research paper that I really liked on that I've got the slides in my presentation, was the researchers quote, they said, old friends are missed in the new generation. And the old friends were in the barnyard and, the dirt and playing in the dirt. You want to let your kids play in the dirt. Grandparents know to let the kids play in the dirt because that's the way they grew up.
Hugging trees and
hugging
playing
trees.
with leaves.
Right. Climbing.
Right,
Yeah.
I remember my niece was 4 and she was going to play outside. And I said, wait. And she was like, what? And I said, go and get dirty. And she was so happy. She just couldn't wait.
That's great. So I'm looking I'm looking, see if I can find this on the phone to look at questions, but there's questions here coming in. So hello, Jennifer and Tracy in South Carolina, and Nasaya in Arizona, Kingman, Arizona, and Andrea, hello. And Tracy making mud pies, exactly. Now, when your kids eat dirt, that's called pica. That's a pica syndrome is when kids are eating dirt, and that's not a good thing to be eating dirt. We used to eat snow a lot. Both my brother and I ate snow. You know, we make snowballs and eat them sometimes.
Oh, nice.
But when you're eating dirt, that's usually a sign of a mineral insufficiency. So if your kids or you see kids eating dirt, you might pass on to the parents. And, you know, you look at their nails, and if you see white spots on your nails, everyone look at your nails. Do you have any white spots on your nails, or do you have white lines going across the nails? The white lines are called Denny's lines, and they're a sign of a mineral deficiency, or white spots on the nails are suggestive of mineral deficiencies. And so when you see, we want kids to play in the dirt, but we don't want kids to eat the dirt. You know, if they're eating it, that might suggest that they need some minerals.
Right. I agree.
Okay. Yes. So Misty's here. Hi, Misty. Good to see you. Or see your name anyway. And Andrea, yes, I have white lines, but I have Hashimoto's. I'm working on it. Way to go. There's in fact, we were at dinner. We called a friend of ours, Anthony Haynes, in London, and Anthony is giving a talk tomorrow on Hashimoto's. So we were talking about that a little bit, and he asked me if I had any quotes for him to give the people. He said that he wanted a name drop. He doesn't like to name drop, but given his good friend Tom O'Brien, are there any messages? And with Hashimoto's, said, always remember to check gluten, because that's so very common, right? And so when we're looking at, I'd like to connect this generation thing, you know, the grandparents, the parents to the children. The incidence of gluten sensitivity goes up by generation. That more kids have gluten sensitivity, larger percentages of the children than their parents when the parents were kids. And with celiac and also with gluten sensitivity, we're starting to see that now. And it's because each generation is getting a little weaker, that their microbiomes are getting a little bit weaker and more vulnerable to an assault. Some of you have heard me say before that wheat is not good for everyone, but it doesn't trigger diseases in everyone. You know, it's a minor toxin, but when your immune system is so overwhelmed and trying to take care of you, it won't even let minor irritants come in anymore. It goes after the minor ones. So kids today are weaker than the generation before them, than their parents, who are weaker than the generation before them, their parents or the grandparents of the young ones. I've talked about this before. The New England Journal of Medicine published a study in 2006 that said, for the first time in the history of the human species, for the very first time, children born today have a shorter projected lifespan than their parents. That's never happened before in history, that every generation has lived longer, a few years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, each generation. But now, for the first time in history, newborns are projected to live shorter lives. Because, and one of the main reasons is because of the amount of toxicity that has overtaxed our immune system, and many of us are living in a constant state of inflammation. That is so very, very common. So we want to be sensitive to that and work the microbiome. Really important. If you're trying to build your immune system, you always have to address the microbiome.
Absolutely. Absolutely agree. For those who don't know much about me, my passion is autism, so I work with children, and I'm all about supporting their health, and microbiome is the number one, for sure.
Yeah.
I was a sick child, and I think playing with dirt and drinking raw milk kind of saved my life.
Yeah. Yeah, raw milk is very different than pasteurized, homogenized milk. Misty says she's just shared the link, the video, with her Facebook Scleroderma and Functional Medicine group. Thank you, Misty. And for all of you out there, please share this. As a matter of fact, we have a gift for you today, don't we?
We do.
Yeah, for those that share this or to make comments, and share the link. What's the gift?
It's a free cookbook from your book, The Autoimmune Fix.
So we've put an e-cookbook together of the recipes from the Autoimmune Fix. Oh, thank you. Lots of little thumbs up coming and hearts and stuff. Thank you, guys. Thank you for that. And so for those that share the link, my staff suggested we do this. I thought, what a great idea. Because the more times these things get shared, Facebook does something with it, that helps us reach more people so that they can catch the message, guys. And as you know, we aren't selling anything here. So the more that you can help us carry the message out. Oh, look at all those little thumbs up and things. Thanks so much. It's like a geyser coming up, just boom, just keeps coming. Thank you. Thank you so much. There was a question I just saw. There's Margaret. Margaret from New Zealand says, my kids used to play in the dirt and rain getting covered with mud. My daughter very rarely gets sick, even as an adult. Exactly right. Exactly right. That's exactly the point. Thanks, Margaret, for that. Thank you. Tracy says, look at all the toxins showing up in umbilical blood. Unfortunately, that's true now. The average child born in America today has 186 toxic chemicals in their bloodstream that are not supposed to be there at birth. That means that mom's been carrying these chemicals, and these things are affecting the development and the neurodevelopment, the brain and the nervous system of our young kids today. It's one of the strong contributing factors to why autism is on the rise now so aggressively. And vaccines don't cause autism. You can't blame this on vaccines. Vaccines may cause autism, but you can't say that vaccines cause autism. You sound like a nutcase if you say that. But there's good rationale that it may cause autism, but it's just another piece, another weight that just weighs the immune system down. Vaccines may be the straw that broke the camel's back for an immune system that's already compromised, as I think it was Diane, no, Tracy. Tracy was saying about the toxins in the umbilical blood, that these poor children's young, undeveloped, immature immune systems are having to deal with all these toxins. And this is everyone now, everyone. I saw a study a couple of years ago, no one on the planet is free of toxins in their bloodstream. They find the Eskimos who are living up in the Arctic have bisphenol A. And these are the Eskimos that don't have any plastic, but they've got bisphenol A in their bloodstream, which is a plasticizer, because it's in the air and and so it rains and it's in the water, and then we get it one way or another. It's in the food. The animals get it. You eat the animals. It just goes on and on with the sources of the environmental toxins that we're being exposed to.
So what would be the common ones?
What would be what?
The common toxins. The
common toxins. Well, one thing to think about are the household cleaners that we use. Guys, I don't know if you remember, there was a chemical called triclosan, and triclosan was outlawed finally, I think it was 2 years ago, but it was in toothpaste, it was in shampoos, it's in the antibacterial soaps, and triclosan is a carcinogen and a neurotoxin. That was a very common one. So I wanted to talk about what alternatives can you use for cleaning supplies in your house, as an example. One is vinegar. Vinegar and water makes a really good window cleaner. You don't need Windex anymore. We have a little joke about Windex. Whenever Marzi wants me to do anything, she has this great way of just saying something. I say, why don't I do this? He says, oh, that's a good idea. Just like my big fat Greek wedding, I've been Windexed, right? She's got me again. So vinegar and water is a great window cleaner so that you don't need the Windex. That's one. Lemon juice is a natural whitener. White vinegar in water. Baking soda deodorizes carpets. If you sprinkle some baking soda on a dry carpet, leave it there for 15 minutes and vacuum it up, it takes the bacteria out, so it takes the odors out of the carpet. Wow. So that's a helpful tool to use also.
Very awesome. And you can add essential oils to all of them. just for an added fragrance.
Talk about the oils.
I don't know much about the oils. I just know that you can definitely do it yourself at home. A lot of cleaning agents.
Oh.
Healthy and organic.
Diane says, thanks for the extensive amount of information you've provided me through your autoimmune series. I'm so glad that I bought it. That's the Betrayal. Thank you, Diane. Thanks so very much. For those of you that haven't seen Betrayal, it's Betrayal, the autoimmune disease solution they're not telling you. And Marzi and I went to 7 different countries, and we interviewed experts all over the world on autoimmunity. And then we interviewed the doctors using the protocols that the experts had researched. And then we interviewed the patients who were applying the recommendations from the doctors, the patients who were compliant, and the patients, they reversed their MS. They reversed their rheumatoid. They reversed their scleroderma, their Hashimoto's. It's really a great series to watch. It's called Betrayal, and it's on the website, theDr.com, theDr.com. Just don't spell the word doctor out. theDr.com/betrayal. And it's there for you. It's free. It's free, so you guys can watch it. And I'm very proud of it. We did a great job, and we've had over 500,000 people watch it now all over the world. So it's really great. Really great. Oh, let's see. And Nick says, and the soils are totally depleted. That's really true, Nick. Unfortunately, that's really true. That so many of the soils have been depleted. We've got so much agribusiness, and they do crop after crop after crop of the same crops. And, this is a good story. I used to have some land in Hawaii on the island of Molokai, the undeveloped island. And I had friends there, born and raised there, and they asked me if I wanted to go hunting with them. We went hunting, and we caught a wild pig, and it was for a luau, because Dole Pineapple, 5-6 years earlier, had closed all their pineapple plantations there and went further into the South Pacific, where there were no laws about employees. It wasn't government, U.S. government guidelines that they had to follow. And so there'd been a lot of unemployment, and a company from Brazil had come in and bought all of the land. And so a luau, they were going to have a luau for the general manager of this new company that was coming over. And I met the guy, great guy. And we were talking, and he said, everybody's really happy that you guys are coming. He said, oh, yes, this is perfect land for us. Perfect, because there's no nutrients in the soil. The soil's completely depleted. I said, what? And he said, well, the pineapple crops, crop after crop after crop of pineapple in the same fields, and you just put NPK, nitrogen, potassium, and potash, I think it is, in the soil. They don't put selenium in the soil. They don't put magnesium in the soil. They don't put iron in the soil. They don't put any of the other minerals, just the 3 minerals that help the plant to grow. So the soil becomes extremely depleted in all the other minerals that are essential to life. And so this company was really happy to buy this land, because they could control the environment completely. And I said, what are you going to grow? And he said, coffee. And I said, coffee? Doesn't coffee grow on the side of the mountains under a canopy of trees, kind of in the shade? He said, yes, but we have these hybrids that we've grown in the laboratory. And they were the first genetically modified plants. This was in the 1990s. And he said, you should buy stock. There's an American company that's going to buy all the beans that we can grow. They're called Starbucks. And I had never heard of them, but I said, no, I'm not buying any stock. Well, that would have been a good buy. But that was the first genetically modified food I'd ever heard of on the market, was coffee. And if you guys think about it, people aren't addicted to coffee. They're addicted to Starbucks. And they keep going to Starbucks because those beans have been genetically modified, and more tannins, more volatile oils. There's 62 different chemicals in coffee that I'm aware of. And the ratios of those have been manipulated in the beans that grow to achieve a particular effect. And so people are addicted to Starbucks. You take someone that goes to Starbucks every day, they don't want to go to Pete's or some other place. They want their Starbucks.
I was one of them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
So let's see what else we've got. So some more about grandparents and parents. what would you do for if your mother wanted to give children something healthy as a snack?
Something healthy,
Yeah.
or you mean like what would I suggest as a
Yeah.
healthy snack?
Yeah.
If they like, because grandmothers, they're great at baking cookies, and any flour, just to replace it with a nut flour, so almond flour or walnut flour or hazelnut flour, and they are so delicious, they're nutritious, they're high omegas and
Some of the recipes
right.
that we're giving you today from the Autoimmune Fix. I remember there's a cookie recipe, and I'm not sure it's in this ebook that we're giving you or not. If it's not, we'll put it up here next week for tiger nut cookies.
Right.
They were really good. Oh, they were really good. They're marvelous cookies. And Marzi bakes. She's a great baker, and she uses almond flour a lot. And so I love it because it's got some protein to it, besides the carbohydrates of cookies or cakes, whatever you're making. Talk for a minute about the types of cakes that you make.
Okay.
Just a couple of the ingredients, and give them an idea of that, would you?
Sure, absolutely. So some of my favorites are almond flour sponge, which is basically the same recipe as for any other sponge. Eggs, a little bit of sugar, coconut sugar, and almond flour. My second favorite would be flourless chocolate cake, which is absolutely phenomenal, which is bunch of eggs, like 6 eggs, melted chocolate, a little bit of sugar, and some cocoa, and it's just delicious. It's gonna be runny in consistency, but when you bake it, it's gonna be nicely and spongy, and just so good.
What's the one that you whip up all the time lately? Bananas.
The bananas pancakes.
This is a great.
Absolutely.
She whips them up so quickly. To tell them how to do it. Tell them how to do it.
So it's just so simple. You just take one banana, you just mash it up with a fork, and then you just scramble 2 eggs together with a pinch of salt, and you put it all in a frying pan with a lid on, so it kind of cooks it through. Flip it over, and it's ready. And it's great with some applesauce or with peanut butter, or whatever you like.
To die for.
So
really quick, really easy, and really good.
0 added sugar. It's so
Right.
sweet.
Remember, I've talked about applesauce, making applesauce to help heal the intestines. So you make your kids or grandparents, you make for your grandkids some banana pancakes, and it's eggs, so you get some protein right away, and a banana, and then you put applesauce on top of it, and it's really good. I'm not exaggerating.
We had
really
guests once. Tom's cousin came with his children, and one of the kids, he's kind of picky eater. He doesn't like to eat.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, right.
And we made these pancakes, and he was eating them, and he was saying, "This is too good."
He's cute little Italian kid. Really cute little Italian kid, right? Alessandro.
So
it was really cute. It's really cute. Thanks for the comments. Margaret says, awesome, thanks. That's very generous of you. I've got your book, The Autoimmune Fix. Thanks, Margaret. Way to go on that. Way to go. And so we said earlier in the show, guys, if you can share the video with a friend, we've got the ebook for you of the recipes from the Autoimmune Fix, a bunch of the recipes. I'm not sure if it's all of them. Is it 10 of them, or do you know?
I think it's more than 10.
Okay.
It's more than 10. It's a big bunch of them. So please comment free gift in the comments, and then we will track you. We will track you, and we'll send you the ebook.
Good.
Right.
Misty says, I tried camel milk for the first time and loved it. Thanks for the introduction. Isn't it great, Misty? Yeah. Oh, that's right. Thank you for that, because I wanted to mention that tonight for the grandparents when your kids come home with their new young children and they say, Mom, we're not doing gluten and we're not doing dairy. And you say, oh my God, what am I going to do? Camel's milk. You try the camel's milk. We'll give you the link here. And you can get a free, I think they'll send you a few free bottles, and I think it's 4 bottles of camel's milk, but the shipping is about $15 or something, but that's because there's ice packs, and it comes frozen. So they're happy to give you the milk, but the shipping is something that they ask you to cover. And it's $15 or $19, something like that. That's because it's in ice packs. And it's really good. I was surprised by it. I think I told you guys last week or the week before. I don't remember when it was, but that, they sent it to me to try it because they wanted me to talk about it. I said, yeah, sure, send me some. And I couldn't get my head around camel's milk. I think of a camel, and I'm not drinking that milk. And it went bad, and they called me and said, or they email me, say, how was it? How was it? And I said, well, you know, I travel a lot and it expired. They sent me more. And so this time I had to try it and I was surprised. It was really good. It reminded me of my comfort food growing up, which was graham crackers and milk. And so I did some Camel's milk with gluten-free granola, and it was really good. I liked it a lot. So we'll give you the link here so you can try the Camel's milk.
Yes.
Thanks, Misty, for your comments on that. Let's see. Karen says, amazing book, Dr. Tom, and I'm sharing with everyone who will listen to me. Essential oils are a great addition for cleaning and smell wonderful. Great, great. Susan says, I've got an organic garden. Way to go, Susan. We all need to have an organic garden. And if you don't have the space for an organic garden, you know, in like 3 feet of space on a balcony, you can grow a bunch of lettuces and tomatoes and vegetables. They've got this piping system now, so it zigzags up. And it's about 5-6 feet tall, and you put your plants in the pipe. I haven't done it myself, but I've seen it, and it's really impressive. So you don't need a lot of space to grow some of your own foods. And, you know, even if you just grow some of your spices, spices are powerful herbs that have benefits, digestive benefits, anti-inflammatory benefits. If you grow some of the Italian spices, rosemary and thyme, and basil, it's really cool to be able to go out and clip your own spices to put on your food. It's very cool to do that.
It adds the flavor.
Yes.
And antioxidants for sure.
Angeli says, thanks for all your work putting the Betrayal series together. It was so informative. I purchased it so I could watch it again. Keep following your mission. Thanks, Angel or Angeli. There's an E on the end there, so I don't know if that's Angeli, but thank you. Thank you so much for that. Linda says, I love graham crackers and milk. Haven't had it in years. Yeah, I know I haven't had it in years either. Just gave me a great memory of childhood. Way to go, Linda. High five to you, girl. You know, we'll do that one together. Yes. So once again, we're asking everyone to share the video with your friends and make some comments. Facebook registers all this stuff, and it'll help encourage them to carry our message out to more people.
I saw Michael Wenster saying hi, guys.
Oh, Michael.
Hi, Michael, and congratulations.
Oh, yes,
baby.
yes,
So
yes. Our friends
gorgeous.
Michael and Isabella Wentz have their baby. They had a first baby, their son. Dimitri, yes, yes. And
gorgeous.
it's really great. Thanks, Michael. Really good to hear from you, my friend. Thank you. Karen Crandall says, herbs on my countertop. Way to go, Karen.
Nice.
It's simple. It's easy. Even if you have just a couple of little pots on your countertop, that's all it takes. I don't know if you guys can hear this, but there's a vacuum cleaner down the hall. We're just standing in the hall of the second floor of our hotel because the wireless was not very good in our room. So I started searching around this hotel, and I found it's really good here. But I think we're about to get overwhelmed by a vacuum cleaner.
No door. Exactly.
And there's no door to close it.
So maybe to wrap it up.
Oh, they just turned it off. Great. So I think we're okay for a couple more minutes.
Because it's a Mother's Day, we would like also put some emphasis on taking care of you moms and you grandmoms, because this is where everything starts.
Yeah.
It's very, very important. We always think about our kids, but we need to also and first remember about ourselves.
Yeah, that's critically important. You know, people don't put themselves first, but how can you take care of your family if you're not well, right? You can't do a very good job if you're not well. So you take care of yourself. You know, on an airplane, what do they tell you every time, you know, what does the flight attendant say before the plane takes off? If there's an emergency and the oxygen masks come down, who do you put the oxygen mask on first, right? You put it on you, then you put it on your children. So you take care of you, then you take care of your kids. Now, you don't do it at the expense of your kids, but you have to take care of you first so that you're available to do it for your kids, right? Does that make sense? And thanks for all the thumbs up that are coming. That validates it. Thank you so much for that.
That's a good question. Yeah.
Nelson has a question. I heard you mention that omegas in the form of fish oils are not a healthy habit because it gets rancid. What would you suggest as a substitute to get good oils into the brain and to help with nerve endings? I'm under the impression that healthy omegas are necessary. I think that was taken a little out of context. It's not that fish oils are bad for you, they're all rancid, no, but the inexpensive fish oils are rancid, or they tend to get rancid very easily. When you go with a high quality company, if your doctor recommends a particular brand to you, you're more likely to have high quality fish oils. For sure, if you go to our site, theDr.com, those fish oils are top of the line, and they're not rancid. They're checked. Every batch is checked every time. That's a good question, Nelson. So, it's like there are old beat up Volkswagens, which I had 13 in my life. I had 13 cars that were under $100. I couldn't afford it. I paid my way through undergrad. And so you buy a car. There's two things you need when you buy a car like that. You need duct tape to keep it together and a screwdriver to take the plates when the car dies, right? So there's old Volkswagens, and then there's Mercedes, right? That's true in all the supplements also. There's really good ones, and then there's cheap, low-end ones that have high markups, so they're making tons of money off of you. So fish oil supplements are excellent for you, but in terms of sources of omega-3s, outside of taking supplements, wild caught fish is your safest bet right now. Alaskan salmon is a good idea. Salmon in general used to be a recommendation, but it's not anymore. Atlantic salmon means that the fish farms are on the Atlantic Ocean, but they're still fish farms. But they've learned to market it as Atlantic salmon, right? So farm fish is, it's really debatable how healthy it is for you, because there are so many toxic chemicals in them. And they inject those salmon with dye to make them look like salmon in the supermarket, right? Because they're not healthy at all. They're very anemic fish. So first, Alaskan fish, seeds, chia seeds, flax seeds, and don't buy flaxseed meal, buy flax seeds, and get a $15 coffee grinder, just a cheap little coffee grinder. And if you want to run a test to see why, because it's so much easier to buy flax meal, ground flax seeds, but here's why. You get some flax seeds, you grind them, and you taste them, say, okay, but save some, and just let them sit for 4 hours, then grind some more fresh, and taste them. Yeah, that's how it tastes. But then taste the ones that have been sitting for 4 hours. And you'll notice the difference in the taste. That's rancidity. And it's the rancid oils that can cause more inflammation in your body. They will have some benefits, but they also can trigger inflammation, right? So flax seeds, not flaxseed meal, flax seeds, grind them with a coffee grinder when you put them in your smoothie is a great one. Chia seeds are good. Other sources of omega-3s, I love sardines. I get my canned sardines from Vital Choice. We'll put the link here for Vital Choice for you. They've got lots of great seafood. That's where we get all of our seafood, and I place an order every couple of months, and I just stock the freezer with salmon, and so I can pull out a piece of salmon anytime we like, and just let it thaw in the refrigerator, and then fry it up that night or however you're going to prepare it. It's just delicious.
And if it comes to oils or fish oils or grinded flax seeds, it's good to keep them in the fridge. That's what's going to keep them fresh for longer.
Good point. Margaret says, have you heard of black cumin oil? I have not. It's meant to be really great for you. Okay, I can't comment on that. I buy New Zealand produced hookfish oil, which is clean. New Zealand is great on the regulations. We know with the meat that comes from New Zealand, the cattle, they're not allowed to use antibiotics there unless a veterinarian writes a prescription for each cow. They can't. That's why there's never been a case of mad cow disease in New Zealand. Dwayne says, is fat good for the brain? Absolutely. I eat salmon from Alaska. Way to go, man. My brother supplies me each season. Send me your brother's contact information. I'd like some fresh salmon from him too. But that's the way to go. That is the way to go. Is wild moose and caribou good for you? Wild meats in general are great for you in general. But if the animal lives in a toxic area and they're eating toxic food, the meats will have some of the residue of the toxic environment they're in. So it depends on where the animal comes from. But in general, I've never heard of a moose farm, so they're going to be wild. And caribou's the same. My favorite meat is elk of all. I love elk. So I would not hesitate to eat caribou or moose. I've never tried moose or caribou, but let's see. What if you put the freshly ground seeds in the fridge? Will they go rancid by the next day? Do the taste test. So freshly grind some, put them in the refrigerator. The next day, freshly grind some more, taste them, and then pull the ones out of the fridge and taste those. Is there a difference? They've gone rancid. So that's the way you can tell.
But they shouldn't in the fridge. They shouldn't for like 7 days, I think.
I would tend to think you're right, but I don't know for sure.
Sure.
Let's see. Alaskans eat the sea lion and seal oils. Okay. Don't know about a option for that, but I believe that. Black cumin seed is also known as black seed oil. Okay, sorry, still don't know about that.
Salmon is on its way.
The salmon's on the way.
Dwayne.
Oh, thanks, Dwayne. Janet says, thanks so much. What about Restore product for gut health, new product? I had a chance to meet Dr. Brad, the founder of Restore, recently, and I was really impressed with his knowledge and his science behind the product. I've tried it myself. I did not notice a difference, but you don't notice when you've got intestinal permeability. You don't notice. But after hearing his presentation, I'm more prone to try it myself again. So as soon as I get back home again, I'm going to be giving it a shot. I've got some at the house that he had sent to me, so I'm going to give it a shot. I would think at this point, if you're asking for my recommendation, I would say it's safer to use it than not to, based on what I've heard from Dr. Brad. Are you going to have a session on CBD oil? Yes, we will. It'll be probably within the next 6 weeks or so, maybe sooner. I'm sorry, I just don't have a schedule. It happens when it happens. Support the Greenwich Indians trying to save the caribou from the oil companies in Alaska. Best meat I ever ate. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Norman. That's great that you say that. If you can post the contact information here, we'll make sure that it's available for people to know how to get caribou meat. And I'd be happy to support that tribe. Have you heard any new information on LPS and high-fat diets? Last I heard was they didn't specify the type of fat. Oh, sorry, guys, I did. Just tonight. We were preparing for this, and I wasn't preparing for this because I got lost. I found one article, and then I found another, and then I found out. So I found 4 articles on saturated fats will act as rafts carrying LPS into the bloodstream. And when LPS is measured in the bloodstream, it's called endotoxemia. I'm preparing a whole presentation on that. It'll be a couple of weeks down the road, but I'm getting pressure from my staff and others to really talk about this thing about high-fat diets, the ketogenic diet. And I think it's good for you and good for your brain, but there's some cautionary things you have to know. And that's what I'll be talking about in the weeks to come. But in answer to your question, yes, saturated fats. I found 4 studies on it tonight on saturated fats increase endotoxemia. That means LPS in your bloodstream. Okay, Zach Bush developed Restore. Right, thank you. I said Dr. Brad. Did I say Brad? Oh, I meant Bush. Thank you. Yeah. Isn't the salmon from Alaska were influenced by radiation that reached Alaska from Japan, the nuclear accident Fukushima? I don't know. I haven't seen that. It certainly may be true because I know where we are in San Diego, we're calling it Fuku waters now because it's not high risk, but it's above normal levels of radiation in the water, for all the surfers and everything. But there's now radiation in the water, not high risk. I tend to say yet, because the reactors are still spilling out lots of radiation every day in Fukushima. They don't have that under control. And I'm not following that daily, but I know that that's the case. To that question, if you write to Vital Choice and ask them, they'll tell you. They'll tell you what the status is. They're great people. They're honest people. I'm sure they're monitoring that. So that's the way that you can find out, is by writing to Vital Choice, vitalchoice.com, a company that we love to support. They're great. We've got the link here for to order from them, but you also can just write to them and ask them about the Fukushima thing. That was from Michael. That was a good question, Michael. Carolyn says, I've been using the nasal spray, Restore, helping tremendously with my allergies. Great, great. Good to know. Good to know. Thanks for sharing that. Good. Let's see. Okay, we've got 3 or 4 questions on Restore, so I'm glad that that's the current status I have with it. I'll know more in the months to come, everyone, but not yet. So fats are really good for the brain. They're critically important for the brain. So having cold water fish, it's high in DHA, which is those foods for the brain. The fish oils that are on our site, and also at Vital Choice. Vital Choice has a DHA supplement. The good fats are EPA DHA, and the DHA is more for the brain. And they have a DHA supplement, a brain supplement that I like personally. I like that one a lot. And we've got the link here for you, so you can go over there and check it out. Do you have any opinion on fish oil versus krill oil? I'm looking into that, Tracy. I haven't gotten enough information yet to be definitive in an answer for you. I just don't have enough information yet, but I am looking into it. So hold on, and that information will be coming. Let's see. What about life extension NeuroMag for persons with depression? Guys, here's the thing about any condition, any specific condition, there's usually not one product that's going to fix a condition if the lifestyle stays the same that's contributing to the condition, right? So they're great, I call it life jacket medicine. You know, there's great life jackets that you can get. NeuroMag is a good product. Can't say anything bad about it. Great product. It's got good research behind why that form of magnesium threonate, I believe. And it's great. I have no problems with it. But, and I may be exaggerating here. Let's see, for Josie, who asked the question, but if you're eating ding-dongs and ho-hos and then trying to take NeuroMag to get rid of the depression, you're missing something, right? You can't do the ding-dongs and ho-hos. Or if you have a food sensitivity to wheat, you can't be eating wheat. And it's the most common cognitive complaint after brain fog with wheat sensitivity is depression. And there's 13 different mechanisms by which wheat can contribute to brain dysfunction, depression. The most common one is called hypoperfusion, a lack of blood flow into the brain. Hypoperfusion. And that's where the brain fog comes from, immediately after eating wheat or shortly thereafter. And that's where the depression can come from also. So what's hypoperfusion? Cross your legs. Everybody cross your legs for just a minute, please. Leave them like that for 3 hours. Stand up and run. You can't, right? Because there's no blood in your legs. So eat wheat if you have a sensitivity to wheat. Get hypoperfusion if that's the reaction that you get, is hypoperfusion. You get depression, and then take NeuroMag and you'll feel better. But then you have pancakes the next morning again, and not the banana pancakes, but rather wheat pancakes. And here comes the depression again. So NeuroMag can help, certainly can help, but you also want to be investigating, where is this problem coming from? You know, that's the whole world of functional medicine. Okay, Maria asks, what do you think about astaxanthin oil? It's great. It's great. It's a great antioxidant. It's what gives shrimp their red color. It's what gives salmon their red color. It's what they inject in farm-raised salmon as a chemical derivative of astaxanthin oil because of the red color. So it's got some benefits. I don't know of any downside to it. I haven't heard of any downside. I'm not sure it's necessary for everyone, but it certainly can be beneficial. Can you get enough omega fats from your food, or should everyone take a supplement? That's a really good question, Deborah. And so let's talk about vitamins for a minute, because there's a whole world of people who think, well, I get all my vitamins from my food. Okay, and is that enough? So here's the way to look at that. We're all supposed to be Tarzan and Jane. Okay. Yeah. We're supposed to live in tropical climates. You know, we don't have fur to keep us warm in the winter. We're supposed to be eating fresh organic produce off the trees and the bushes all the time. And we're not supposed to have very much stress in our lives. You know, there's a great book called Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers. And when you look at this book, when you read the book, he talks about how zebras, you know, we've seen the National Geographics, there's a herd of zebras, and they lift their head up and they see there's a lion over there. And so they're on alert. And, but then when the lion starts creeping closer, they take off, and the lion has picked one zebra that it's going to go after, and it goes after that one zebra, and it gets that zebra, and the herd's about a quarter mile, half mile away, and they look and they see the lion's not coming anymore. They just stop and they go back to grazing. They're not walking around in a state of uptight anxiety all the time. Zebras don't get ulcers because when there's no immediate threat, they don't worry, right? But we worry all the time, right? So we live in a high stress environment. The reason I'm telling you all this is that we live in the laser lane of life. We don't live like Tarzan and Jane. We don't have calm, relaxed lives and lifestyles, right? So if you're driving your car on the highway, if the car's got 5 gears and you're in 3rd gear trying to do 55 miles an hour and the car's floored like that, if you shift to 5th gear, you can go 55 much easier and you don't use as much gas, you don't use as much fuel. But if you're in 3rd gear floored, you're using a lot of fuel, right? We live our lives in 3rd gear floored. We're stressed most of the time, if not all the time. When's the last time you remember? I'll tell you what, if you take 3 deep breaths, let's do that now for a minute. Let's just all take a deep breath. Take another deep breath. Don't disconnect. Stay with me. Take another deep breath. One more. Notice how your body feels if there's a little bit of difference. That's the way we're supposed to feel, and much further down that line of relaxation all the time. We live stressed up all the time, highly stressed. Why do I tell you this? Because we're burning more fuel. We're in 3rd gear floored all the time. So if you were living like Tarzan and Jane, you can get all your nutrients from your food. But when you're driving in 3rd gear floored, you're burning your fuel up way too quickly. You need more nutrients. Does that make sense to you guys? Give me a thumbs up or something if that makes sense to you, right? You just cannot get enough fuel and nutrients to deal with the amount of stress that we're under by the food that we eat. We want the food to be our primary source of so many different things, nutrients, enzymes, life force. That's why you want raw food, some food raw every day, some of the food raw, because that's where all the enzymes are. Oh, thank you for all the thumbs up and the hearts. Thank you. You know, it's really funny because there's a delay. There's a delay of about 15 seconds. So I say, give me a thumbs up or something. There was nothing. So I'm trying to stay cool and say, what? Am I not convincing here? So and now they're just flowing. So thank you so much. That's really nice to see.
Oh, so we passed almost the 50 minutes mark.
Okay, guys, I'm getting the hook here that it's time to go. So, all right. Thank you very much. Real pleasure to be with you. Thank you, honey. We're doing this together.
It was a pleasure.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Thank you for all the comments.
My wife. Yeah.
So cute. Thank you for the comments of a free gift. We're definitely going to get back to you with a free gift.
Yes.
So please share the video, and all the best to all moms. Take good care of yourselves.
Yes, agreed. And we will see you next week. Thanks again.
Bye.
Bye.